In recent years, America has witnessed very great political fluctuations, tensions, unrest and splits, especially after Trump's term, whether his first term or his second. All of this heralds a major negative change in the power of the state. The escalations that occurred just last week portend dire consequences that require pauses and deliberation. First, we observed escalations. The demonstrations that took place in Los Angeles after the immigration and customs enforcement raids on some places in Los Angeles to hunt down illegal immigrants, of course, there were very large unrest because Trump, in his administration, used the National Guard, an army. I mean, this is without the permission of the state, and this is contrary to the laws of the state and the laws of the various states in America. He did not get along with them or take the opinion of Congress or talk about this. There were escalations, and the governor, Gavin Newsom, as well as Karen Bass, who is the mayor of Los Angeles, on Monday deciding that they will sue Trump in the American judiciary, and Trump himself described them as incompetent, whether the governor of the state or the currency of the city, which means very, very large escalations. And we saw what happened, and we saw that the issue of development to seeking the help of the Marines. And of course, this is also a step. Difficult Marines don't usually use them in the country, they use them abroad, but they use them in Los Angeles. The issue is the night curfew in some places in Los Angeles. All of them are escalations that we have seen and followed since 6/6/2025 AD, and they are in effect. The second point is also a unique and unprecedented escalation. It occurred in a press conference held by the Secretary of Homeland Security in America, whose name is Christine, on 6/12/2025 AD, holding a press conference in Los Angeles, speaking on the issue of illegal immigration and others. So a Democratic representative from the Democratic Party from California named Alex presented her as an alternative. And why is this representative famous? I mean, the reputation is great in California, and he has a situation, and he is of Mexican origin, who comes forward to ask a question about illegal immigration. What happened? A very, very strange reaction. The police in charge of protecting the minister attacked him. I took him outside the hall, and all this is imagined. It is on his page, of course, and other various media. Word got around. They shouldered him and left him behind the room and treated him in a very important way, and they shouldered him from his back and lowered him to the ground and arrested him for a period of time, meaning several hours, until after that they were released, or it may be less than that, but I mean they were arrested for a period of time. And so they came out. So the issue spread to the media. The Democrats in all of America objected very clearly. Their statements were, I mean, severe. The Republican representatives did not know how to respond appropriately. They did not understand what was happening. This is the first time an American senator has been treated in this way. A member of the Congressman's Council treats this way. He himself said after that, if a member of Congress, a representative of the people, treats this way, how will the Trump regime or the administration regime deal with it? Affiliated with Trump, with the general people, with the workers, with the people, and so and so. How do you treat him like this? In addition, it remains that dealing with illegal immigrants in an inhumane or non-humane way. And they escalated the situation, very, very dramatically. This is also a unique event in America. The third event, which is also very remarkable at the same time, is on Saturday, June 14th. It happened, a very huge event, and he was preparing for it before. Event date is more than 2,000 anti-Trump marches and demonstrations in America titled No to Kings. In reference to end, Trump acts like all kings. He looks at an objection to him. He does not look at Congress. He does not even look at his special team. He makes his decisions very individually, in a way as if they were monarchy, and he is in a democratic country, so the title is the title. Their list is not for royalty. And they did mean very, very huge events, telling you more than 2,000 marches in America in one day. They say that the number of participants in these marches exceeded 5,000 Americans. Imagine you have 5,000 Americans on the street in one moment across every US state, every state, I mean all states, I mean Democratic states and Republican states, of course, most of the participants in these elections. The demonstrations are from Democrats, not Republicans, but there are also Republicans, and the topic spread. The very largest number of demonstrations we saw in Boston was Boston, where there were two large gatherings, 1,000, 1,000, one in the streets of Boston. After that, there were smaller numbers, but also large, 75,000 in Chicago, 70,000, 60,000 in San Diego, California, and 50,000 in San Francisco in California as well. And other states witnessed smaller but multiple gatherings, meaning it's like in more than one city, there are 40 marches that happened in Arizona. On the day of 140 marches in 40 cities in Arizona, 30 in Kentucky, 30 in Indiana, 30 in Iowa, 30 in Missouri, it means something very, very difficult to imagine with this pilgrimage. This is the largest protest march against Trump from the first time he assumed the second term, and more than that, if marches also occur in different countries of the world, it means synchronization in this issue with different countries of the world, marches in front of American embassies. American immigrants were made in this country and got in a very large number of countries also under the title "Not for Kings." And the countries that were royal countries left the address "No to tyrants, no to kings," so that they would not be accepted. I mean, I understand that they are against the monarchy in their country, like for example England, Canada and Denmark. In this country, marches also took place that opened the title "No to tyrants," and it happened in very many countries, including countries that witnessed a very huge intensity of objection, like Mexico, for example, like Costa Rica. It also happened in Japan, in France, in South Africa, in Spain, Sweden, Belgium, the Czech Republic and the Netherlands. Germany, Norway, Portugal, Switzerland, Scotland all say that the whole world has seen such marches. But inside, Unity and Illusion, of course, have agreements to be in upcoming marches. On other dates, they agree on. Fourth, more and more escalation happened on the same day that these marches took place. On 6 to 14, 2025 AD, an assassination occurred. The Senator Melissa Hortman, a Democratic senator from Minnesota, and her husband Mark were murdered at home. She and her husband were murdered. Her husband's name was Mark. This assassination occurred in their house. One of them attacked the house and was hit with fire. US Senator, her death and the death of her husband. He shot Jane Hoffman at the same time. This is another US Senator from Minnesota, also Lance and his wife. But what happened to the second senator and his wife? But she died.
US Senator?
Melissa Hortman died. Of course, it is a catastrophic event in the history of America, and it is not repeated and very far apart. We do not hear about this except every few decades. The killer named Vance A. was arrested. Poulter is 57 years old, most likely a member of the Republican Party. They are still investigating him as a religious person. He throws bites in some churches and travels. Africa, there are some sermons against the issue of abortion, and of course, you know, the Democratic Party embraces the right to abortion, and therefore it means it is in his brain that he resists the Democratic Party by killing. And they found in his car a list of 70 targeted names, among them the names of people who are Democrats, including the state's governor himself and Minnesota's Tim Walz. Among them are some representatives in Minnesota like Ilhan Omar and another, Tina Samath. They confirmed in Betua and another list containing about 12 second names. Of course, what is very strange is that the police found in his car leaflets belonging to the march, which is originally the march. He is a Republican. God knows best if he is a Republican and participant with them in the demonstrations, or if he collects date flyers or date leaflets in order to get rid of them. God knows. They are still investigating him, but these escalations, my brothers and sisters, portend terrible divisions in politics. Rather, there may be divisions in American society itself, and we remind you of what happened before Trump stormed the Capitol when he failed in the 2021 elections. His supporters stormed the Capitol Congress on 1/6/2021 AD in a precedent that is not repeated in American history, or at least rare. And we also think of the assassination attempts on Trump that occurred earlier in his campaign.
Nomination on the subject.
It is very, very popular in America. This is not normal things. This is not a whirlwind in the cup of the American people who are unqualified and unprepared for such circumstances. All his life he has had a mother. During the American Civil War from 1861 to 1865. Since then, I mean, you have been talking about 160 years of time and you have not seen such things. You have seen everything. The things are governments that seem to be ruling in succession. 4 years without problems, without unrest and without conflicts that lead to blood in this way, this is a situation where immature reactions are possible because the people are not taken by such an atmosphere, and we may see escalations and developments. And it is possible, as we saw in the Los Angeles marches, burning buildings and burning property, and the issue may reach murder, as we saw in Minnesota, the issue. I am saying that the Arab and Islamic countries should create many multiple scenarios that disrupt America's decade, or at least its turmoil and its own preoccupations. It is very possible that this turmoil will occur, and if the disruption of America's decade occurs, it will be a tsunami on the entire world, because America's relations are striking politically, militarily, economically, socially, intellectually, culturally, media, and everything. There will be very, very great turmoil. You must have the scenario to prepare for such circumstances if they occur. The least is the idea of the placental cord being severed between America and Israel. If they lose America, it works for itself. The knot or rope between it and Israel will be severed. Will the Arabs and Muslims be ready for such a situation? We ask God Almighty to give Muslims a beautiful response to their religion so that they can benefit from such changes. God's blessings are good. May God's peace, mercy, and blessings be upon you.